Hey guys, it's Rush. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Today is a special day and this is a special video. Before I reveal all, let's just talk about the journey that's led to this point. A long time ago, I started this channel. I had 0 subscribers and I started to play Street Fighter 5. And as time went on, I picked up the Hori Fighting Commander, which gave me those 6-button vibes back from the Mega Drive and the Sega Saturn era. 6-button pads are what I've always used for Street Fighter and other 2D fighting games. Time went on and I built a small following on YouTube. I played Street Fighter 5 until the very end and they stopped making the Hori Fighting Commander. And for a period of time I was scurrying around the internet trying to find secondhand Horis, buying new ones at extortionate prices, and there came a point where it wasn't feasible to keep doing this. And that's the point where I really started to struggle with my fighting game journey. Not only did I have a pad that I didn't particularly like, it was the B-top. It was good, but not exactly what I was looking for. Street Fighter 6 dropped, and that's always been a game that I've not been so keen on. So I've been in this really weird space where I've been looking for the right controller. I've been looking for a fighting game to sink my teeth into. And both have been pretty bleak ventures. Whilst I still don't have a fighting game that captures the magic of Street Fighter 5, what I do now have is what I think is the perfect fight pad. It's been a long time coming, there's been a lot of ups and downs on this journey, but with the Victrix Pro BFG Reloaded controller and a Sega Saturn style D-pad, I've managed to tick all of the boxes when it comes to the perfect fight pad. So in this video, I'm going to show you the process of me modding the D-pad onto the Victrix, and then I'll show you the pad at the very end, give you a breakdown of how I feel about the controller, and I'll show you some gameplay. So a really exciting video, something new that I've not shown before on the channel. Really looking forward to showing you the work put into this. So this is the Evercade VSR controller. This has the Saturn style D-pad on it, which I'll be using for the Victrix. The D-pad itself, it's Sega Saturn style. It's not a typical Sega Saturn D-pad, but it's very similar. I do feel the edges of the up, down, left, right on this D-pad, they looked a lot better in regards to what I was looking for in the perfect D-pad. So I really struggled to take this pad apart. I thought the screws were in the back, they weren't there. Then tried to pry it apart with my hands and I couldn't get it apart. So I had to resort to some extreme methods. So if you are an Evercade employee, please look away now. It's pretty messy stuff, but it did the job. I cracked it open. But when I did that, I realized the screws were underneath the faceplate on the front. I didn't even know it was a faceplate, but you sort of peel it off. It's glued onto the controller and the screws are underneath. We took that apart and that exposes the insides of the controller. Please bear in mind, I'm not an expert when it comes to taking apart controllers and messing around with the insides of controllers. So there are some ghetto techniques that I use, but I do get the job done. So there is the PCB. So there's 2 separate PCBs, one for the D-pad and one for the rest of the buttons. Quite similar to the Octa Pro, how it has the connector to connect the 2 PCBs together. So unscrewing that and pulling it apart reveals the D-pad, the back of the D-pad. The actual plug was pretty tight, so I had to really pull at it to get it off. To get access to the D-pad, I had to break the clip that was holding it from the back. So I'll snap it and then just pry it off. And then that gave me access to the D-pad. So with the D-pad and sanding it, you've got to get rid of the arm on the back. And also to make sure it bonds well using the glue, you need to sand down the plastic. So sand down the lip, sand down the actual backing of the D-pad. So I spent some time looking at the configuration of the Victrix and I wanted to decide on which D-pad to use, which one I would glue the Saturn style D-pad to, which would then be used to connect it to the controller itself. So I did plan to use the cross-shaped D-pad at first, but the issue with the cross-shaped D-pad is that when you press down the directional inputs, the up, down, left, right, it pressed into the control pad a little too much and I was worried that the back of the Sega Saturn style D-pad would press against the face of the controller. So that was my original plan, but then I opted to remove that entirely, not use that one, and then use the circular style D-pad, which is my favorite of the 3. I didn't actually want to use the circular style one, but this was a better fit, just to ensure that the lip of the Saturn D-pad didn't touch the face of the controller. So the sanding is the long and boring and messy part. I'm very OCD, I don't like mess. So when you sand down these plastics, it makes a lot of mess and there's a horrible smell that comes from the plastic. I've never done it on the desk before, so doing it under a camera and on the desk, I was worried about scratching the desk. So I'll put a bit of tissue down to protect the desk. And it takes a long time to sand down the plastics and get it exactly how you want. It takes a good while. So once done, just give the desk a bit of a wipe down and just give the D-pad a bit of a clean just to get all the dust off it. So a wipe down and then just dry it off. And then we need to sand down the face of the Victrix D-pad. Giving it a rough surface helps with the bond between the two plastics. So that looks all good. Now it's time to sand down the back, but the actual insides of the Saturn D-pad, just to give that a bit of a rough surface. I didn't make it completely flat because the Saturn D-pad was getting quite thin, so I didn't want to make it weak. So that's as low as I wanted to go. I always hoover the sanding block once I'm done, just ready for next time if I need to use it again. So that's it. So the D-pads are prepared and ready. The next step is to glue them together. Now this is the bit I really don't like. So the sanding takes long, but I don't mind it too much. Just a bit smelly, a bit messy. But with the gluing, I don't mind the process, but my worry with the glue is obviously it's very messy. And if you do this wrong, you will screw up the entire process. So this is where things can go bad. I've only ever made one mistake, and that's where I glued the D-pad on diagonally. I didn't actually do it straight. I don't know how I did it. It's really dumb. So I'm using Gorilla Glue. This is the epoxy glue. So you have like two chemicals that mix. When they combine, that creates the bonding agent. I think the key with this entire process is just to take your time. If you try and rush the process and you're not very careful, you will make a mistake somewhere. So this is why I was super cautious with this part. It's mixing up the two chemicals together. And then I was in two minds about how much glue I wanted to add. I didn't want to go crazy with the glue, but I obviously want to make sure the bond is strong and lasts. So I covered the base of the Victrix D-pad. And then a similar thing on the back of the Saturn style D-pad. But with the Saturn style D-pad, I really want to get the glue into all the grooves just to make sure that bond is nice and strong. And this is what happens now. I start getting a bit OCD with it all, and I start putting more glue on things just to make sure. Because once you get them together, you don't want to disconnect the two. You can do if you need to. It's not an issue, but you want to do it right first time. And this is where I spent a lot of time aligning. It was really difficult to get the alignment perfect. So I wanted the D-pad to sit completely center, the Victrix D-pad, but then I wanted the up, down, left, right to be positioned perfectly. So there was no degree of inaccuracy in terms of the alignment. I wanted it perfectly straight. So I spent so long just adjusting the D-pad left, right, twisting it a little bit, and then spinning it around and then thinking, hang on a sec, that doesn't look right. Let me spin it again. And the more you spin it and move it, the worse the alignment looked. So you have to readjust for the adjustment you just made. So I spent forever doing this, but I wanted it to be perfect. Drum roll, please, for the big reveal. This is the final product. It's come out so good. I'm really happy with it. So it is only the D-pad that's changed. Nothing else has changed on here. I have removed the analog stick, as you can see there. You just pull it off on these Victrix controllers. The reason I removed that is so my thumb doesn't hit the analog stick by mistake. It has the new module. So this module did not come with the PC version. This is a separate purchase directly from Turtle Beach's website. So this is the new one where the buttons are shifted up. But the D-pad, look at it, look at it, look at it. It just feels great. It looks great. It looks like it's actually stock, which is very nice. Holding the pad, the D-pad position is perfect. I use the joint of my thumb to play fighting games, or games in general actually, when I use the D-pad. And that's right in the middle. The angle ensures that my thumb goes across the D-pad rather than it being like that or like that. It's right across diagonally. Feels great. I can get to my left input, my right input, my down, but the actual motion inputs, I can really feel when I'm on the up, down, left, right. So those quick quarter circle, quick DP inputs, they feel great. I've already used the pad and the pad feels amazing. The best D-pad I've ever used in a fighting game. And other plus points about the pad are its design and shape is like bang on. It's the perfect size, perfect shape. I've taped over these toggles so that these don't lock. Some people have said they don't have that issue, but for me, I have knocked these many times, locking the rear triggers. The mapping I'm using on this pad for Street Fighter and City of the Wolves. So I don't have up for jump anymore. I spent a lot of time transitioning to a button as jump. So my left is left, right is right, down is down. My jump button now is L2. So I use that for jump. These are my attack buttons, and I use these two buttons here. That's for my EX moves, EX punch moves, EX kick moves. The pad itself as well is 1000 Hz polling because it is the PC version. If you purchase the PC version and update it to the latest firmware, it will have 1000 Hz polling. And the final thing I want to mention about this pad is the paddles. So I've got more used to using paddles on this controller, and these paddles are really good. And the reason they're very good is they are very quick to the press, a very minimal amount of movement. But as soon as you press it down, you get your input, which is interesting because on the Octa Pro, the paddles on the Octa Pro are not very good. There's a lot of travel. It's very mushy, and the actual button press is quite inaccurate. With this now, I can press it, tap it, and let go, and the input will happen in just a few frames. Whereas on the Octa Pro, that the paddles are terrible. They're really bad. They don't feel good. The position's not the best. They're very mushy. You get a very slow movement, a mushy input, and when you let go, it actually holds that button press for a lot more frames, messing up your execution in fighting games. But yeah, I love it. I can't explain to you how good this pad is now. This is an amazing D-pad. The buttons are finally in the right place. I can map all of my buttons to be whatever I want them to be. That's actually disabled. So pressing up on the D-pad doesn't do anything. You have the ability to disable even the directional inputs on the D-pad. Shape is amazing. It feels great. It looks great. I mean, you cannot tell me that isn't a good looking pad. It looks like a stock controller. Right, so I'm going to leave you with some footage. There's some footage from Street Fighter 6 and from City of the Wolves. I will tell you now that when I used this pad on both of the games, my execution felt perfect. This is the control pad I've been looking for. It's exactly what I want. I'm really pleased with it. So watch the gameplay. You'll see the execution. There's a few drops which I remember happening, but that's no fault of the pad at all. That is on me. So enjoy the highlights. I hope you enjoyed the video.
Try to keep up. Look at you! No way! Hadouken! Let's get it! Eye on the prize! Hadouken! Nice job! On that! Hadouken! Go time! Keep up!
I'm coming for you. That was some kicks.
No way! Hadouken!
Keep calm. You. I'm not too easy. Brace yourself. Prepare yourself, huh?
Just warming up.
Hey.
Just getting more. That was too easy. Can't. Kind. Wait.